Well, let's just dive right in, shall we? We all remember the lingering sting of that 2023 final. It's a memory permanently etched into the minds of cricket fans literally everywhere. But here's the thing about elite sports, you just can't afford to stare in the rearview mirror for too long. So in today's Explainer, we're pivoting straight to the future. We're looking way past the heartbreak and focusing entirely on the blueprint. Think of this like a massive, architectural project, a towering skyscraper of strategy. Team India isn't just sitting around hoping for a better result next time out. They are actively plotting their next grand conquest, and they're laying down the foundation brick by literal brick.
Which brings us to the absolute core question. How on earth do you build a World Cup winning team 3 whole years in advance? I mean, it honestly sounds like the plot of a high-stakes heist movie, right? You need the perfect crew, a flawless timeline, contingency plans for your contingency plans, and an absolute total mastery of the environment you're walking into. So think of this explainer as your literal sports playbook. We're going to break down exactly how the Indian cricket establishment is orchestrating this massive, multi-year operation.
Section 1. Target 2027. The Grand Vision. Section 2. The BCCI Strategic Roadmap.
Okay, so every grand architectural project needs an ultimate destination, right? For Team India, that destination is the 2027 ODI World Cup, which is set for October and November in South Africa. And let me tell you, that location isn't just the host country. It is the absolute defining factor of this entire strategic roadmap. Building that roadmap, it starts right at the top. The BCCI has mandated a super structured approach. Speaking recently in Guwahati, BCCI Secretary Devajit Sakia made it crystal clear. Their macro strategy is to guarantee the national team gets a steady, adequate diet of 50-over match practice. But what's really fascinating here is the alignment. Just look at this brain trust. You've got Sakia handling the administrative scheduling, making sure nobody gets format rust. Then you have Chief Selector Ajit Agarkar actually building the squad, right alongside head coach Gautam Gambhir and bowling coach Morn Morkel, who are executing the vision out on the field. Sakia explicitly noted that the selectors, the support staff, the head coach, they are all completely on board. It's a totally unified leadership team architecting this long-term plan.
So, how does that unified front actually operate in practice? Well, it breaks down into a brilliant two-pronged attack. On one side, you have the macro strategy. The BCCI is out there basically moving mountains administratively to ensure there's absolutely no lack of ODI cricket, scheduling all that vital 50-over match practice like the upcoming England series. But then, on the flip side, you have the micro-tactics. The coaching staff isn't just treating these matches as games to win, they're actively scouting for very, very specific tactical fits designed exclusively for South African conditions. It's the sheer volume of matches meeting surgical precision.
Let's actually plot this out visually on our timeline, because these aren't just random tours we're talking about, they are calculated stepping stones. Right now, India is looking at the Afghanistan series, specifically that first ODI in Dharamsala, as a testing ground for the youngsters. Then, looking a bit further ahead to July 2026, that 3-match series against England, that's going to serve as a critical stress test to assess squad combinations. Basically, every single match between now and October 2027 is a controlled experiment to refine the squad and iron out any weaknesses.
Section 3. Mastering South African Conditions.
Now, remember a minute ago when I said South Africa was the defining factor? Well, here is where those micro-tactics really take center stage, because you can't just send a highly skilled team over to South Africa and just kind of hope for the best. The environment there completely dictates the blueprint. If you don't build a team engineered specifically for those grounds, the whole macro strategy just falls apart. So what exactly are we building for? Well, conditions in South Africa place an absolute premium on 3 crucial things: high pace, extreme bounce, and a heavy reliance on seamers. Those slow, turning pitches we're used to in the subcontinent? Yeah, throw those right out the window. If you want to survive, let alone actually win, a World Cup in South Africa, your bowling attack absolutely has to possess these specific aggressive attributes. Which brings us to a phrase you're going to hear a lot: hitting the deck hard. Now, this isn't just about bowling fast, it's a very specific, forceful style. I really want you to imagine the sheer physical impact required here. It's all about a fast bowler driving the ball forcefully into the pitch to extract that extreme pace and high bounce, basically to terrify the batters. To succeed in South Africa, India literally needs an army of bowlers who can consistently and punishingly hit the deck hard.
Section 4. Building the pace arsenal. Building up that pace arsenal is precisely the mission for India's bowling coach, Morn Morkel. And frankly, Morkel, being a towering South African fast bowler himself, knows exactly what it takes to win in his home country. His vision is aggressively focused on expanding India's pace reserves way ahead of the World Cup. He knows you need options, and you definitely need depth, because fast bowling is a seriously high-attrition job. But take a look at the current status. Building that arsenal comes with some immediate hurdles. Jasprit Bumrah, the absolute spearhead of the attack, is currently unavailable. Harshit Rana is still recovering. So this current fast bowling landscape, it basically forces the management's hand. They can't just sit around and wait until 2027 to find backups. They have to stress test fresh blood right here, right now.
And honestly, that's exactly what the Afghanistan series provides. It's a huge opportunity. Enter the fresh blood, Prince Yadav and Gurnur Barar. These are raw rookies brought into the squad for the Dharamsala ODI. Morkel and Gambhir are using this exact moment against some really solid opposition to see if these youngsters actually have what it takes. Can they fill the gaps? Can they survive the pressure? And ultimately, can they compete for a coveted spot on that flight to South Africa?
I mean, put yourself in the shoes of a young debutant for just a second. You are suddenly wearing the Indian badge. The pressure is astronomical. But check out this quote from Warren Morkel about Yadav and Brar. He said, "I saw no nervousness in their faces. They were on the money, accurate." Morkel even noted that it felt like they'd been part of the squad for 5 years. They brought incredible energy to training and showcased some real tangible skill. So the crucial point here is that the scouting isn't just about finding raw pace. It's about finding the psychological resilience to actually wear that Indian shirt.
Section 5. Peaking at the right time.
All right, so this is where the macro strategy from the BCCI and the micro tactics from the coaching staff perfectly intertwine. Because it's one thing to build an arsenal and schedule the matches, right? But it's an entirely different challenge to manage the psychology and the physical output of a squad over a multi-year runway so they don't just completely burn out. Let's break down Morkel's overarching philosophy into 3 really deliberate steps. Step 1, take learnings from every single series. He specifically mentioned past series in New Zealand and South Africa as examples. Step 2, look for small, incremental improvements specifically in the 50-over white ball game. And Step 3, peak precisely at the World Cup. It's a highly calculated step-by-step psychological approach. You don't want to be playing your absolute best cricket in 2026. You want to save that for October 2027.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate reality of elite sports, captured right here in Morkel's own words. While his quote mentions peaking next year for an immediate challenge, like the upcoming Champions Trophy, the core philosophy remains exactly the same for the ultimate 2027 goal. What you really need to take away from this is that World Cups are never ever won in a matter of weeks during the tournament itself. They are won through gradual, meticulous, almost obsessive improvements mapped out over years.
So, the boardroom has scheduled the matches. The coaching staff is hunting for the perfect fast bowlers to hit those hard decks of South Africa. The rookies are stepping up to the plate completely fearlessly. The roadmap is firmly set. But I'm going to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought to ponder. In a sport where literally a single injury or just one bad session can change absolutely everything, will Team India be able to execute this multi-year heist and peak at the absolute perfect time? Definitely keep an eye on these upcoming series, folks, because the blueprint is already in motion.